The jungle was alive. Not the small forest humans knew. This was an alien jungle. Trees twisted like claws. Mist covered the ground. Strange sounds echoed through the air. Every step could hide a predator. Every shadow could be dangerous. Instructors stood at the edge of the clearing watching the new trainees. The aliens shuffled nervously, scanning the forest with wide eyes. Many had never faced a jungle like this. Their senses were sharp, but this place was older and wilder than any of them imagined. The instructors gave the simple rule: blend with the wild. Learn it, respect it, survive it. Some aliens whispered to each other. Others trembled. They had trained for years in simulations, but this was real. Every leaf, every branch, every sound could be their last. And then the human stepped forward. He was quiet. Come. His eyes moved slowly, observing. He did not panic. He did not hesitate. His movements were small, careful, but confident. He looked like he belonged to the jungle already. The instructors noticed. They had trained humans before. Humans were clever, quick learners, but none had ever faced this kind of challenge. And this human, he was different. Keep your distance, one instructor whispered to the aliens. Watch him. Learn from him. The aliens glanced at him nervously. They did not understand why he moved so slowly yet covered the ground faster than they could. The day began with the first challenge. Hunt the small creatures of the jungle. Survive for 24 hours. Learn the traps and dangers. Return alive. The aliens fumbled immediately. One fell into a mud pit. Another startled a predator and had to run. Their traps failed. Their weapons misfired. The human did nothing obvious. He crouched near a stream watching. His eyes followed every movement of the small creatures. He observed the patterns. He noted the predators. He learned the paths. By the afternoon, the aliens were exhausted. Their energy was low. Their confidence lower. The human remained calm. When a predator approached, a creature with long claws and sharp teeth, he did not run. He did not hide. He moved like the shadows. He blended with the plants. He became part of the jungle. The creature paused, confused. It sniffed the air. It circled once. Then it left. The aliens stared. The instructors whispered to each other. He did not just survive. He controlled the jungle. Night came quickly. The jungle grew darker, wilder, and stranger. Every sound seemed louder. Every shadow deeper. Some aliens tried to stay close together. Others froze in fear. The human disappeared. Not far. Not hiding. Just vanished. The aliens called out. The instructors searched. Nothing. Only the whisper of leaves and the distant howl of predators. Small traps lay untouched. Footprints led nowhere. It was as if he had melted into the forest. The aliens panicked. One tried to follow the faint tracks. They led to a riverbank. The water reflected the stars above. Nothing else. Where is he? Whispered an alien. The instructors shook their heads. He is testing you, one said quietly. And he is testing the jungle. Hours passed. The aliens tried to sleep. The jungle did not allow it. Strange sounds echoed. Shadows shifted. Eyes glowed in the darkness. Some of the aliens could feel the human's presence, though they could not see him. Every time they thought they found him, he was gone again. The human had set subtle traps. Not to kill, but to teach. Alien trainees fell into minor snares. Some had their supplies moved. Others were blocked by fallen branches. Every time, the human watched silently from afar. The instructors realized something terrifying. This was no ordinary trainee. This human learned faster than any other species. He adapted not to survive, but to dominate. By dawn, the aliens were exhausted and afraid. The human appeared quietly. He did not speak. He did not smile. He simply nodded toward the clearing. Then he vanished again before anyone could follow. The instructors looked at each other in disbelief. He has already surpassed everything we expected. The jungle was no longer a challenge. It was a tool. And the human was learning to use it. One of the aliens whispered, trembling, "He is something else." The instructors nodded silently. Yes, something else. The human had disappeared into the wild once again. But this time he was not running from danger. He was becoming the danger. The jungle had trained him. The human had trained himself. And no one, not alien, instructor, or predator, would ever forget it. The jungle grew darker as the second day began. Alien trainees moved cautiously, still shaken by the human's disappearance the night before. Every sound made them jump. Every shadow seemed alive. The instructors called for the first hunt exercise of the day. The goal: stalk the prey, set traps, and bring back something alive. The aliens prepared nervously. Most had never faced predators this intelligent or cautious. The human observed silently, crouched on a high branch. He did not rush. He did not panic. His eyes scanned the forest floor. His hands moved over vines and moss, touching everything lightly. He memorized the terrain, the winds, the sounds, and even the small insects. The instructors watched carefully. "Notice him," one whispered. "He moves like part of the jungle itself." The aliens began to track small creatures. Some tripped over roots. Others startled birds or lizards. One young alien tried to set a trap. A small predator quickly destroyed it, leaving the alien frustrated and frightened. The human did not interfere. He did not need to. He stalked silently, moving closer to the prey than any alien dared. His presence was barely noticeable. His breath matched the wind. Even predators seemed unaware. When he finally struck, it was precise. The creature was caught cleanly in a trap he had set using vines and rocks. No struggle. No noise. The aliens gasped. They had tried for hours and failed. The human's movements drew their eyes. Every step was careful. Every action had purpose. He was not just surviving, he was controlling the environment around him. The instructors exchanged uneasy glances. "This is more than training," one said quietly. "This is evolution." By mid-afternoon, the hunters were exhausted. Sweat ran down their faces. Their supplies were low. Some were afraid to move. Others whispered about the human. "Where did he go?" one alien asked nervously. The answer was simple. He was everywhere and nowhere. Branches bent slightly where he passed. Stones shifted. Small predators disappeared or ran in fear. Every trainee felt it, though they could not see him. The human was teaching the jungle to obey him. Then a loud noise erupted nearby. A predator, larger than anything they had seen, roared. Its claws scratched the trees. It searched for food, and found the aliens. Panic erupted. Screams echoed. Traps were forgotten. Aliens ran blindly. The human appeared from the shadows. He moved like water, fast and smooth. He redirected the predator away from the aliens, using the environment itself, falling branches, vines, and hidden noises. The predator ran. The aliens stopped, staring in disbelief. No words were spoken. The instructors only nodded. He is teaching survival in a way no species can match. The hunt continued. The aliens tried again, but each attempt failed. Their traps collapsed. Their strategies were too slow. The human was always ahead, unseen, adapting to every movement of prey and predator alike. As night fell, the human disappeared again. This time the instructors knew why. He was not just hiding. He was observing, learning, controlling. The aliens gathered around their instructors, exhausted and scared. "He is not human," whispered one trainee, his voice trembling. "Do not say that," another replied. "He is human. But he is something more." The instructors knew the truth. They had trained many species before. Humans were clever, but this human was beyond clever. He had learned the jungle faster than anyone could predict. He was shaping the environment without leaving a trace. He had become the ultimate survivor. Deep in the jungle, the human crouched silently on a ridge. He looked down at the aliens, struggling and panicking. He did not gloat. He did not need to. Every movement he had made, every trap he had set, every predator he had controlled, it was all part of a single lesson. The jungle was not just a place to survive. It was a challenge. And he had mastered it. The instructors looked at each other in the dim light of dusk. "By tomorrow he will surpass everything we know." And they were right. Because when the human vanished into the shadows once more, the jungle was no longer just a place of danger for the aliens. It was a place where the human ruled. And soon they would realize. The hunters had become the hunted. The jungle had changed. It was no longer just a forest. Every shadow, every rustle, every sound seemed alive, and always watching. The aliens awoke to another day of training. But the human was gone. Not hiding. Gone. Completely vanished. The instructors panicked. They called his name. They sent search teams. Nothing. No footprints. No signs. No sound. The aliens whispered in fear. "He is not supposed to do this. What if something happened to him? Or, what if he is testing us?" The instructors knew the answer. This was no ordinary trainee. He had survived impossible situations. He had blended with predators, outsmarted every trap, and moved like part of the jungle itself. And now, he had disappeared entirely. The first group of aliens set out to find him. They moved carefully, following faint signs. Broken branches. Disturbed leaves. A footprint here, a broken vine there. Hours passed. No human. Then the jungle itself seemed to change. Paths the aliens had memorized no longer led where they expected. Small predators avoided certain areas. Birds flew silently overhead. The forest seemed to respond, reshaping itself. And somewhere in the shadows the human watched. He did not attack. He did not speak. He simply observed, learning how the aliens moved, how they panicked, how they reacted. Every mistake they made, every fear they felt became part of his lesson. The instructors realized something terrifying. He was no longer just surviving. The jungle had become his tool. The predators obeyed his presence. The plants hid him. The environment itself was part of his strategy. Alien trainees attempted traps again, trying to capture small prey. The human had already intercepted them. Small snares were moved. Rocks shifted. Paths were blocked. The aliens felt his presence before they saw him. "Stop!" one alien screamed. "This isn't fair." The instructors exchanged uneasy looks. They had seen clever humans before. They had seen survivors. But never like this. This human was shaping the world around him. He had become something more than a human. By midday, one trainee ventured too close to a river. The current was fast, the rocks slippery. As he slipped, a vine wrapped around him, saving him from the water. Not naturally. Not by chance. The aliens froze. The vine seemed controlled. From a tree above, the human sat silently, observing. He did not intervene unnecessarily. But he had ensured no one would die, not yet. The instructors were shaken. "He is testing them," one whispered. "Not to kill but to teach. And to show them, humans are not what they think." As evening fell, the aliens gathered, exhausted and fearful. No human appeared. No instructor could predict where he was. Small notes were left. Messages carved into trees. Patterns of broken branches. Subtle signs that the human had been there. But no direct contact. One alien trainee whispered, trembling. "He is something else. Not human, not alien. Something the jungle respects." The instructors nodded silently. They knew the truth. By disappearing completely, the human had sent a message. He was not bound by the rules. He was not bound by fear. He was beyond them. At night, the forest was alive with whispers. Small creatures moved differently. The wind carried unusual sounds. The predators were cautious. Even the instructors felt uneasy. The human had vanished, but his influence remained everywhere. Branches bent subtly where he had passed. Small paths were blocked. The jungle itself seemed to hide him while showing his power. One instructor murmured, almost to himself, "By tomorrow they will realize, the hunters have become the hunted." The aliens huddled together, unsure, afraid, and in awe. They had never trained for this. They had never faced a human like him. And somewhere high in the canopy, the human crouched silently, watching them. He did not smile. He did not speak. He simply observed, waiting for the moment when the jungle itself would teach the aliens their first true lesson. The night was dark, quiet, and alive. And the human was everywhere and nowhere. No one, alien, instructor, or predator, could predict his next move. And that was the point. The jungle had trained him. And now he would train the jungle, and everyone in it. The jungle was no longer just a place of training. It had become a battlefield of wits, patience, and survival. Alien trainees moved cautiously. Every step, every breath felt watched. They had heard rumors about the human, how he vanished, how predators avoided him, how the jungle itself seemed to bend to his will. But no one could imagine the reality. Branches shifted before they walked under them. Leaves rustled even when there was no wind. Shadows seemed to move in impossible ways. And everywhere there was the feeling he was watching. The instructors gathered, worried. "This is more than a test," one whispered. "It's a lesson they may not survive." The human had set his first major challenge. Small traps, once harmless, were now interconnected. Tripwires led to nets. Nets triggered decoys. Hidden alarms alerted predators. Every move the aliens made could trigger a chain reaction. The first alien trainee approached a clearing. He thought he was being clever. He set his trap to catch a small predator. Suddenly vines snapped. Rocks rolled. A hidden alarm, a bundle of leaves tied together, triggered. The predator was not harmed, but it turned toward him with sharp claws and glowing eyes. The trainee froze. A shadow moved above. The human silently leapt to a branch, watching. His eyes calculated every possibility. He did not intervene, not yet. He wanted the aliens to learn. The trainee barely escaped. Heart pounding, he stumbled into the undergrowth, realizing the jungle had become a puzzle designed against him. Another trainee tried a different path. He thought moving quietly would help. But every sound echoed strangely. Every branch that cracked seemed louder. His path was blocked, his trap destroyed. Something unseen guided the forest itself. By midday the aliens were exhausted, frustrated, and terrified. The instructors realized they had underestimated the human. "He is not just surviving," one said quietly. "He is teaching the jungle to survive with him and against them." The human had become the apex of this environment. He could predict predator behavior, guide small animals, and manipulate the terrain to his advantage. Each alien mistake was noted, each misstep turned into a subtle lesson. When the predators moved, the human used them strategically. One predator appeared near a trap, drawing the alien's attention. Another predator appeared in a separate clearing, forcing the alien into a carefully designed path. Every creature acted according to the human's guidance, yet none seemed forced. The aliens began to whisper. "He is controlling them." "No, he is communicating without words." "They're listening to him." Even the instructors felt a chill. Humans had always been clever, yes, but no species had ever mastered the environment so completely. He had become part of the jungle. The jungle had become part of him. As night fell, the human disappeared again. Not running, not hiding, but simply vanishing from sight. The aliens gathered in small groups, exhausted and terrified. They realized the truth. The jungle was no longer a challenge. The human had become the challenge. The instructors warned them. "Do not underestimate him. The jungle obeys him. He is not just a trainee. He is something more." In the dark, the human watched silently from the treetops. The predators were quiet now. The paths were clear. The traps were ready. The aliens did not know where he would strike next, or if he even intended to strike. And that was the point. By manipulating the environment, controlling the predators, and observing the aliens' every move, he was proving one undeniable truth: humans adapt. Humans survive. And humans dominate. The night was tense. Every rustle, every sound, every movement felt amplified. The human crouched silently, aware of every step of every alien trainee. One mistake could teach a lesson that they would never forget. By the time dawn approached, the aliens were shaken. They had survived, but barely. The instructors gathered to assess the situation. "He is not human in the way we understand," one murmured. "He is beyond their expectations," another replied. And somewhere deep in the jungle, the human moved. Silent, unseen, observing, calculating. The hunt had begun in earnest. And the aliens realized the terrifying truth. They were no longer hunters. They had become prey. The jungle had chosen its master. And the human was ready. The jungle had a new rhythm. It moved not by chance but by design. Every rustle, every shadow, every predator seemed to follow an unseen order. The alien trainees awoke to a harsh truth. They were being tested, but not in the way they expected. The human had become invisible yet omnipresent. He no longer just survived, he controlled. He could appear anywhere, vanish anywhere, and manipulate the jungle without leaving a trace. The first challenge of the day was simple in theory: cross the central clearing, avoid the predators, and reach the supply cache. The aliens thought they could succeed if they were careful. They were wrong. As they stepped into the clearing, the predators reacted instantly. Small creatures they had ignored before now moved aggressively, hurting them. Branches snapped at impossible angles. Footpaths shifted subtly. Every step was monitored. The human crouched high above, calm and patient. His eyes followed each trainee, calculating, learning, guiding. Not a sound escaped his lips. The first alien stumbled. A net sprang from hidden vines, catching him off guard. He struggled, panicked, and was forced to retreat. Another tried a different path. A predator blocked the route, moving with uncanny intelligence. It was not random, it was herded. The human had orchestrated every step. The instructors observed in awe and fear. Humans had always been clever, yes. But this human had become a master of the environment itself. He was not merely surviving the jungle, he was restructuring it. Hours passed. Every alien trainee faced failure after failure. They had expected danger, yes, but nothing prepared them for a human who controlled the wild itself. By mid-afternoon, desperation grew. Alien whispers filled the trees. "He sees everything. He predicts our moves. He is not human." The instructors did not respond. They had learned long ago, humans were unpredictable, clever, and resilient. But this human, was something beyond comprehension. The human began his next phase. He left subtle clues: a trail of broken leaves, a pattern of bent branches, a predator positioned in just the right spot. The aliens realized too late that following the clues would lead them into deeper traps. Panic spread. Fatigue set in. Some trainees froze completely. Others tried to flee, only to be herded by predators or blocked by hidden obstacles. The instructors whispered urgently. He is teaching them through fear and mastery. By evening the human emerged briefly. He did not speak. He did not threaten. He simply stood silently, observing the chaos he had orchestrated. His eyes met the instructors. A calm, quiet confidence radiated from him. Then he disappeared again. The aliens huddled together, exhausted, terrified, and bewildered. They had survived multiple tests, yes, but each step, each moment was under his control. One alien trainee, trembling, finally spoke. He is the jungle now. The instructors nodded. They knew the truth. By disappearing, observing, manipulating, and teaching, the human had reached a level no species had ever achieved. He was not just part of the jungle, he was the ultimate predator and the ultimate survivor. As night fell, the jungle fell silent. The predators lay still. The vines and branches seemed to wait. Even the wind carried a quiet tension. The instructors looked at each other, knowing what must happen next. The human would not merely challenge the aliens, he would force them to evolve or fail entirely. The trainees shivered. They had realized a frightening truth. They were no longer being trained. They were being judged. And the human was the arbiter. Somewhere high in the canopy, the human crouched silently. His presence was felt everywhere, yet seen nowhere. His eyes scanned the forest, calculating every possibility, preparing for the next phase. The jungle had chosen its master. And the human was ready to prove one undeniable truth to all who dared enter his domain. Humans adapt. Humans survive. Humans dominate. The night was tense, alive with anticipation. Every rustle, every shadow, every predator was part of his plan. The aliens realized with growing horror that the jungle itself had become their enemy, and the human was its king. The jungle had become a living maze. Every shadow moved. Every rustle could hide a predator. Every path could shift without warning. The alien trainees had learned this. They had tried to adapt. But they had never faced anything like him. The human had disappeared completely. Not a trace remained. No footprints. No signs. Only subtle hints of his presence. A bent branch here, a disturbed leaf there, the faintest rustle of predators acting strangely. The instructors were worried. They had trained humans before. They had trained aliens before. But never anything like this. He is beyond control, one whispered. Beyond prediction, another replied. The first real test began at dawn. The aliens had to cross the central forest and reach the river on the far side. If they failed, the instructors feared for their lives. The human did not appear. Yet his presence was everywhere. Predators moved in patterns that defied logic. Birds flew in sudden flocks, blocking paths. Vines twisted as if alive, creating natural barriers. Small creatures scattered to create distractions. Every element of the jungle was part of his test. The aliens panicked. They tried to move carefully. They tried to stay quiet. They tried to think ahead. But the human had already anticipated every move. One trainee set a trap for a small predator. The trap failed spectacularly. A vine snapped, a branch fell, and a hidden predator appeared, startling him. The alien stumbled and fell into a shallow pit, hidden by leaves. The human watched silently from high above. Every movement was precise, calculated. He did not intervene unnecessarily. He only observed, letting the jungle itself enforce the lesson. Hours passed. The aliens tried multiple paths, each one leading to more obstacles. Their supplies dwindled. Fatigue set in. Fear began to control them. The instructors whispered nervously among themselves. He is teaching them endurance, patience, awareness. This is more than survival. By midday, one trainee screamed. He had been herded by predators into a corner. He realized too late that the jungle itself had become a trap. The human finally appeared briefly at a clearing. He did not speak. He did not smile. He simply stood, watching the chaos unfold. His eyes were calm, focused, almost judging. Then he vanished again. The aliens huddled together, exhausted and trembling. They had survived minor tests before. But this was beyond anything they imagined. Small notes appeared in the undergrowth. Broken branches. Arranged leaves. Patterns in the sand. The human's subtle messages were everywhere, guiding, warning, testing. He is everywhere, whispered one alien. He is the jungle, another said. The instructors nodded. They had realized the terrifying truth. This human was no longer just part of the jungle. He had become its master. By nightfall, the final stage of the test began. The aliens had to return to the main clearing, alone. No instructors. No help. Only their instincts and what they had learned. The human moved silently above, orchestrating everything. Predators, fallen trees, paths, vines, even small sounds were manipulated. Every mistake the aliens made became part of the test. One by one the aliens struggled. Many failed. Some made it partway and returned exhausted. A few reached the clearing only to find it subtly altered. Their previous knowledge of the terrain was useless. The instructors watched, worried and amazed. They had never seen a human adapt and dominate so completely. Finally, one alien reached the center of the clearing. The forest was still. The predators were still. The wind was still. And for a moment, it felt as if the human was watching directly. A subtle rustle. A shadow moved above. The human appeared, crouched silently on a branch. He looked at the aliens calmly. He did not scold. He did not praise. He only observed. The message was clear. You have survived my jungle, but you are not ready. Humans adapt. Humans survive. Humans dominate. And the jungle itself obeys them. The aliens realized the truth with growing fear and awe. They were not just trainees. They were participants in a lesson far beyond their understanding. The jungle had chosen its master. And he had proven one thing: humanity was unmatched. As the night fell, the human vanished once more. The jungle was quiet. But every creature, every branch, every shadow now carried his presence. The aliens knew one undeniable truth. They had survived the jungle, but they had been taught a lesson they would never forget. The instructors, shaking their heads, whispered, "The human has disappeared, but his dominance remains. The jungle obeys him. And one day they will realize, humans are the ultimate survivors." The forest was alive with quiet tension. And somewhere, unseen, the human watched, waiting for the next challenge. Dawn broke over the alien jungle. The air was thick with mist. The leaves glistened with dew. Birds sang, but their songs were cautious. The predators moved carefully. Every creature, every shadow, every sound seemed to obey a hidden order. The aliens gathered in the main clearing. Exhausted, trembling and full of awe, they looked around. They had survived the jungle barely. But the human, he was gone. For days he had tested them. Hidden, observing, manipulating the forest and its creatures. He had disappeared into the shadows, yet his presence had been everywhere. Every vine, every predator, every shifting path had been part of his lesson. The instructors whispered to each other, their voices low. He is no longer just human. He is the jungle itself. The aliens shivered. They realized the truth: they had not just been trained. They had been tested beyond survival. And the human had mastered everything. Then quietly, a shadow moved above the clearing. The human appeared, crouched silently on a branch. He did not speak. He did not smile. He only watched, calm and patient. His eyes scanned every trainee. Every flicker of fear. Every sign of understanding. The aliens felt his presence like a weight. It was not threatening, yet it was undeniable. "You have survived," the human said softly, his voice carrying through the clearing without moving his lips. But survival is not enough. Adaptation, awareness, patience, these are the true tools of a species. And humans, we master them all. The trainees stared, speechless. Some dropped to their knees. Some trembled. Some simply stared, unable to comprehend the calm power before them. The human descended to the ground. He moved with grace, silent yet deliberate. Every step seemed to echo authority. He did not look like a predator. He was a predator, but not in the usual sense. He was a predator of circumstance, of opportunity, of survival itself. The jungle around them shifted subtly. A vine twisted, a branch bent, a predator paused and then moved away. Every element obeyed him, not by force but by mastery. The aliens whispered among themselves. "He is perfect." "No, not perfect. He is something else." The instructors stepped forward. One spoke carefully. "He has taught us what it means to be human. To survive, to adapt, to dominate without fear." The human nodded slightly. He did not need to speak. His presence, his actions, his mastery over the jungle conveyed everything. Then he disappeared again. Not running. Not hiding. Simply vanished, leaving only the jungle in perfect order. Every predator back in its place. Every path clear. Every leaf where it should be. The aliens and instructors stood silently, absorbing the lesson. The jungle had returned to calm, but the weight of what had happened remained. They had been tested, challenged, and outsmarted. Every failure had been a part of the lesson. Every fear had been a part of understanding. One alien trainee finally spoke, voice shaking. He is the ultimate survivor. Not just human, something more. He has shown us what humans are capable of. The instructors nodded. They knew the truth. Humanity had always been clever, resourceful, adaptive. But this human had demonstrated something no other species had achieved: mastery over life, environment, and circumstance. The jungle remained silent. But the message had been sent. Humans survive. Humans adapt. Humans dominate. And somewhere in the shadows, beyond where the eyes could see, the human watched. Calm, patient, ready. Always learning. Always observing. He had disappeared from sight, but his legacy remained. The aliens would tell stories. The jungle would remember. And the instructors would never forget. The human had walked through impossible challenges, outsmarted predators, and manipulated the jungle itself. He had disappeared. But he had left one undeniable truth. Humanity is not just part of the galaxy. Humanity shapes it. Humanity endures. And as the mist lifted, the jungle seemed to bow quietly, as if acknowledging its master had left, yet would always remain. The aliens knew they had survived, but the memory of the human, his calm, his power, his unmatched skill, would haunt and inspire them forever. For in the wild there was a new apex. And it was human.